Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Simply Sketchy. Today, I've brought with me another recurring guest, my friend Fat Dave, also known as Total Blackout Painting. Hello, Dave.
Aloha. How are we doing today?
Doing pretty well. It's just in between everything happening, we're finally taking a little bit of time to just do fun.
Right.
Yeah, or fun stuff. Can't swear much. Darn it. Darn it.
You swore within the first 5 minutes of the video.
What can I say? I'm a
screwed.
hillbilly. I'm a hillbilly Norwegian, and I'm a sailor. I kind of got the deck stacked against me here. Okay.
Oh man, I think you got the pass. If I'm honest, like you could
maybe.
claim that it's just something cultural.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get mad at me for this. This is my culture. It's like when Australian people say.
Yeah. Of course. And since we have a friendly Bessic, he gives us the C-word pass. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like Rosa allows me to say unless Bessic actually bleeps that one out. Maybe
he's
Bessic
definitely
should
gonna bleep that out.
Yeah, Bessic
that's
should bleep
getting
that
bleeped.
out. Rosa's pass only work when Rosa is on the show, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now Bessic once more holds the power of my YouTubeisms.
See, no, I have a pass by that, just by virtue of a lot of people just being that. Not because, and it's funny because I used to say something, and here's some stuff for Bezic to bleep out here, because I used to say, quit being a retarded, and then I'm not talking about mentally impaired homosexuals. I'm talking about retarded. So
it's gonna be
just
ripping his hair like
between. I know. This whole section is just gonna be one long bleep. So, side note, my sister told me that my brother-in-law actually was telling me that her and her family listened to the podcast on they were driving back from Yellowstone, and said they were just dying. They thought Bezic was really funny, so that was we'll let him hear that when he edits it. They were like, my brother-in-law's like, is that guy a comedian? I was like, no, he's just Australian. Like, they're just fucking funny because the circumstances of their life and country is weird.
He's an angry boy for a lot of good reasons.
Yeah.
That's today's first tangent out of today's subject. So
yeah,
let's give people a bit of an idea of what we're doing here. For regular people who don't play Elden Ring, you don't know what this is, but for people who play Elden Ring, you can probably recognize what it is.
Yeah.
Dave, what is this?
Those damn sickles. Today we're gonna look at doing Abductor Virgin from. Yes. And I don't know if they are specifically associated. They're all, like, Volcano Manor is basically the source of the Abductor Virgins, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically,
and of course that's where you find the worst ones. So.
Oh, yeah. The Abductor Virgins are the main way of recruiting victims or new recruits for Lord Reichardt's continued heresy against the Erdtree, the established religion of the land.
Yeah, against the Golden Order.
Yep.
And the Three Fingers.
Yes.
Two fingers. Sorry.
2, 3.
The three.
Fingers.
The Three Fingers is the madness.
Yes. We'll get into that one. Honestly, I hate. Oh man, when we get into that one, I'm just gonna be spiteful as fuck because I hate.
You're spiteful. You're salty about the madness. I really enjoyed the. Like, I didn't play and I know we've talked about that. I didn't finish I didn't finish that ending.
No, but, it's more like my own personal values just clashed so hard with the Flame of Frenzy. So
right.
I just hate on it. I always get the Flame of Frenzy after I torch the Erdtree, and then I use Michaela's Needle to just fucking seal it just for spite.
Yeah, so I did that on my first. Actually, I got it beforehand because I didn't realize that Millicent would just bail on you if you, or is it Millicent?
Yeah.
Melina would just bail on you, and so then I had to go hunt down Millicent to get the goddamn needle to undo it. That was a pain in the ass quest right there, because the arena you got to do that fight in sucks.
It does,
So,
but again, Millicent, again, we should do an episode of her as well. There's so much good stuff there. But yeah,
There
Millicent is her own thing. It's Melina, not Melina. It's, yeah. She's the other daughter of America, the worst mother in the universe. Holy shit, like, all of Elden Ring can be summed up in America is the worst mother.
It's this Elden Ring is summed up as the problem with single motherhood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Bad.
But anyhow, so I guess to talk about these Abductor Virgins and not to I'm not gonna bog down on the lore right here. Is that when I first encountered these things, like in Elden Ring, like I kind of had an idea because I'd seen like clips of them and stuff. I didn't realize how terrifying these damn things were to fight, and like how like what a well-designed enemy they are, and just how fucking cool. They really do exemplify a lot of what is really cool about the FromSoft games, and that's just the intense attention to miniature details as just like not just embellishments, but also hints at the lore. Like they just pack so much, especially in these things, they pack so much symbolism into them, you know, for other things, and they were just like, they suck. They suck, where you're like, oh shit, I gotta be really careful, and then all of a sudden this crazy thing comes charging at you with its chest open, getting ready to grab you. Like, they're just a really, really cool and well-designed enemy.
Magic snakes out to get your flesh, essentially.
Yeah. And the way that you get into Volcano Manor through the Abductor Virgin at the bottom of Rhea Lucaria it's such a cool touch.
Yes.
Right?
You
It's just
actually
such
have
a
to let
cool...
yourself... you just have to let yourself be taken by one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, which is cool, like in a thematic sense, makes perfect sense.
It does.
And yeah, so I fought against the ones in the bottom of... I finally just had to look it up and find out, oh, they're weak to lightning. Like, well,
really?
that would made... Yeah, Abductor Virgins are weak to lightning.
Yeah.
So that's how I finally had to beat them, was with some... I can't remember which spell I used him the first time. But I was like lower level, right? Because I was just going through freaking Rhea Lucaria. Just going through Liurnia. And I wasn't... I hadn't like grinded up to the retarded level that I ended up finishing the game at.
Yes.
So... Because I was like over level 300 when I beat the game the first time, I think. Or I was close to it. No, actually, I think I was like 270, something like that. I was way high up there. And it was still a hell of a fight. It still took me a bunch of tries to beat the Elden Beast.
But the Elden Beast is just bullshit anyway.
I know, it sucks, because you gotta... I think now you can use Spirit in that fight. You can use the horse in that fight now. I think they patched that in.
Seriously?
But, yeah, seriously.
Oh my god, thank you.
I guess I mean, that would be the best addition to that fight. It would make it so much better.
Yeah,
instead of just having to like, oh, he appeared fucking 500 meters that way. Let me run half a kilometer over there to swing my sword, and then run half a kilometer back to swing my sword at him again. Sorry. The air's been really bad here lately. It's getting... I mean, the last few days it's gotten... Or I guess this week... It's gotten significantly better. We had a rainstorm earlier this week. That helps clear the air. But, like, I've been extra... Like, my lungs have been extra irritated.
Sorry to hear, dude.
Oh. Yeah, it's okay. So I'm always clearing my throat and coughing and shit.
It's alright.
Feels like I'm still smoking cigarettes. It's ridiculous.
Have you heard about Hume?
Yeah, no shit.
Sorry, we're not
Not
sponsored by
sponsored
Few.
by.
No, but
Yeah.
if they wanna, I can start getting into that habit.
Yeah. Wouldn't say no to
No,
sponsorship from you.
no, not at all. So anyway, chill jokes aside,
Yeah.
how was your first encounter with this thing? Was it in the Rail Carria, or did you actually walk towards Mount Gelmir and get a surprise guillotine towards the head?
I did. I think I ran into him first on the Altus Plateau.
Yeah,
And
up in the
then,
mountains, right, toward where you
yeah.
climb towards Gelmir. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was on the way to Gelmir. I'd long ago given up getting to Gelmir, and
Yeah.
suddenly I just found this. Oh hey, a camp full of crazy people. Oh hey, look at all this. And suddenly, as I was distracted by looking at this giant fortress, surrounded of course by these weird things, suddenly just a guillotine comes flying through the wall. Like, oh hey.
Yeah. I didn't go through the game the first time very linearly, so I didn't do Renala until I think I may have actually killed Radon before I killed Renala.
Oh.
Um, and I explored Caelid way before I explored Liurnia. I went all through Caelid because, of course, I just ran. I didn't do Stormvale. I went through Liurnia, or I went through Limgrave and explored, and then I went through because I had heard that doing the Weeping Peninsula was easier than doing Stormvale,
Yeah.
which it was. Like that whole area is easier than Stormvale Castle. And
Basically went
so I went through this.
all the way down south to in Limgrave before I went to Stormvale.
Yeah.
Only reason I did Stormvale first was to get through Morgoth, so I could get the Black Flame, because I was kind of dedicated to do a Faith build first.
That's what I was doing, Strength Faith. But
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't know a whole ton about the game at that point. You know, I hadn't listened to a bunch of all the lore and everything like I have since afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
So, which there's so many great lore channels.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the story is so it really makes me wonder if they have some big book of Elden Ring lore at FromSoft where it's okay, here's the official story of Elden Ring, and you could just read it from front to back. You don't have to worry about it.
I think they do, actually. I think there's someone there who's just walking behind Miyazaki. His job is walking behind Miyazaki, and
Yeah.
between all the screaming and talking and muttering about poison swamps and femboys, he just also mutters a lot of ingenious shit that the writers just get that now.
Make a note of this.
Hey guys, he's saying something different. Poison swamps,
and femboys. God,
fanboys, poison swamps. Wait, what the hell is this? Abductor
that's not the
Virgins.
fucking super accurate poison swamps and femboys.
Oh man.
But I mean, because the lore is really, it's such a cool story.
Yes.
And I guess it's a cool story if you're into it, but it is really.
It's easy to get into because it lets you create a character, and then you just have you can either just follow the role you play, or you can just, as I like to do in these kinds of role-playing games, I essentially just put myself into that position. Like, oh, what would I do if I was there? And I just play it as close to how I want to be.
Yeah.
A little bit of
I just try to
cringe, but hey, what can you do?
I just try to complete everything.
Yeah. Oh, same.
I try to find all the items. I try to do all the shit.
There's one thing I can't bring myself to do, and that's the Millicent prosthetic. Just can't. I just like Millicent too much.
Oh, to get the because you have to fight her to get it, right?
Yes, you have to betray her in her mission, but ugh.
Yeah, no, I never did that.
Yeah,
but I haven't got back to that point too. I haven't got in my new game plus. I haven't got back to the Howling Tree again. Because, man, those parkouring levels, like a Howling Tree isn't that bad. I think we talked about this. Howling Tree isn't that bad because there's tree below you, you know. But Farum Azula fucks with me hard.
Again, I really love the height thing though. Again, Farum Azula is it's one of my favorite places.
See, we're the exact opposite.
Except for the whole undead part, because for some weird reason, whenever undeath arrives, I tend to always be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Take a.
And
Spiders
that's
are of course scary and shit, and snakes too. But a thing can be scary. But if you put a basic bitch zombie, unexpected in front of me, right? If I expect them, no problem. But if I don't expect them, that shit throws me off so hard.
that's funny.
Oh man, a little bit of a bitch, but yeah, it's and of course, since I'm easily afraid by undeath, I tend to hyper focus on it to learn about it as I become less scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird like that. As soon as I figure as got in Elden Ring, as soon as I got attacked by one of those weird zombie things, it's like, oh god, no. And the sewers are scary not because of the fucking omens going around trying to kick your ass, but because of the wraiths and other undead things.
Yeah. I don't have that same problem.
Uh, no, your fear is more grounded in realism that high
Yeah.
places are scary because, well, it's a high goddamn place, you dumbass. I'm the kind of
Man,
guy
I
who's
dig that snake on the handle. That's
yeah.
pretty so cool looking.
I have the references, but I also want to do a little bit of artistic freedom too, because if I'm
Yeah.
gonna start hyper focusing on details, especially in Elden Ring art,
Oh yeah,
I'll be
dude.
sitting here for a year because
Yeah.
there's, like you said, attention to detail. It goes every single way. It is attention to artistic detail, attention to lore. It's essentially attention to everything, though to some people the gameplay needs should have had a bit more attention to it as well.
Yeah.
But there might be a few points a bit unbalanced here and there, but I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. It's still. I mean, it's a fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every game has its minor issues and whatnot.
yeah.
So
It's a small price to pay, and it's playable at least. It's good
right.
enough. You can play the game and you can finish it whatever way you want. It is not as optimized as it should have been, maybe, but it's still among the FromSoft games, in my opinion, that I played, one of the better.
Yeah. 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 It's a. I love the game.
Yeah.
It's super fun. I mean, I'm just looking at the snakes on that though. I'm looking at another picture of the wheel, the Giza's wheel on the
Yes.
arm. It's just so brutal looking.
I know.
Just the hooks on it, and then I love how they splatter everything with blood.
Yes.
They just cover everything with that viscera, like blood, that so it just shows that like this is not like this is
This is not
a
your.
tool of death.
It's a tool of death, and just again, as in the lore says, it is Rykard's heresy,
Right.
and that's
I'm
something I
looking
was
at
very
this.
interested in, like because snakes in Elden Ring, at least for the Golden Order, are seen as a being of heresy. So I guess a little bit of Christian influence there.
Yeah. Well, there's Christian themes scattered throughout the whole goddamn. I mean, when you see Marika hung on Marika's cross.
Yep.
When you go in to fight at the final battle.
Yep.
You know, and the fact that it's Marika's cross everywhere, or the fact that the deity is represented by a cross is a huge thing.
Yep.
So
in this one, it was less of a being sacrificed for the mortals and more like divine punishment by her superior, because Marika is a physical god, but
yeah,
she still answers to the higher entity that is the
that
greater
outer.
will.
What the hell is it?
Outer
the
god?
greater will.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outer god.
I
That's
don't think the greater will is an outer god. He's again above those, but the outer
Oh, yeah.
gods are essentially, they are lesser deities that can actually have an influence on the world itself. So if I remember correctly, the greater will is sort of like the parental deity, the primordial one.
Yeah,
And then you have the formless mother, the other deities. They are essentially its children, all seeing if they can actually start affecting the world around it.
See, that story in a book would be so fucking cool to read.
Yes.
It would be so cool. Like this, if they just released an Elden Ring novel. Of course, I wonder if releasing an Elden Ring novel would really kind of break some of the lore, or not. It wouldn't break the lore, but it would break the mystique of the game. Because people going through, like the people who are going through to actually pull out the meaning and all this stuff, I feel like sometimes they're a little like literature teachers.
Yeah.
In that they're actually beating a little more meaning out of things than there actually are.
Yeah.
You know, some things are just cool adornments, but they spend a lot of time looking at the detail. And if they released a book that was like, oh, the story of Elden Ring, and it's like, oh, okay, well, there is really no meaning to the snakes on the arm of the Abductor Virgin. Okay, well, that would be stupid. You know, kind of stuff like that. Like, oh, they just did it for a stylistic choice kind of thing.
Though I think there's a lot of things that are made due to stylistic choice, but they ended up writing in lore. For example, again, the snakes on Rykard's, everything that is affiliated with Rykard and himself is based on serpent insignia because of, well, the world-eating serpent primarily, but also that it is a hated entity in the Golden Order. Honestly, I suspect that the serpent was involved long. It is the main reason why Rykard ended up separating from the Order and wanting to do the whole deicide route that he goes.
Right.
Because
the serpent, I thought the serpent existed before Rykard.
It did. It is essentially a primordial entity that seemingly that devours and assimilates everything. So in a way, I think that the world-eating serpent is much like what is it? It is a god-given physical form, sort of like the god of rot, but it just burns and consumes everything.
Yeah, but that's kind of a cool throwback to Norse mythology, right there.
Yep, Jormungandr.
The world devouring. Yep.
Or
so,
as we call in Norway, Jormungand, Midgardsormen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Oh yeah. It's also one of the reasons why I just adore that boss fight, which we're gonna cover in Rykard's own episode.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this. I loved that. Okay, I was talking about the wheel earlier, and I think that it's a cool weapon, even if it's not super useful.
Yes.
Like, it's a cool looking weapon, and like you can make use out of it.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like with that prelate charge, you can lock people with the wheel.
Yep.
And keep like poise breaking.
The thing about it is, for heavy bloodlust builds, it is so viable, dude.
Yeah. Well, so I'm looking at this model and I'm thinking, they have the Giza's wheel weapon. Why don't they have the chain sickle? Like a chain sickle weapon, although it would be kind of weird and impractical and probably a pain in the ass to program and design a moveset for.
I think it could do really well if you made it a somber weapon and have the whole range throw. But then again, it would be cool.
Like it would be a weird, have the weapon art on it be the fucking thing shooting out.
Yes.
That's something a modder could do.
It would be.
We'll try to pass that on to, hopefully some modder listens to this.
If any modder hears this, please do, because that'd be amazing.
You have to clip it. That would be dope. Probably already exists.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
But that brings up another part of Elden Ring, is that a lot of the weapons are just pieces of monsters.
Yes.
Which I think is just so cool. Like the finger one is so cool. It's such a fun weapon.
It is.
I mean, it's not super practical, but it's hilarious when you flick someone with that thing.
Yep. It's just a finger.
You sneak up on one of those damn the little guys in Caelid. What the hell are they called? They just slipped my mind.
Little guys in Caelid?
Yeah. I can't believe
Oh,
they're big.
the militia, right? The vulgar
Yes, the
militia.
vulgar militia. There, okay, yeah, I hate those guys. I hate those little fuckers so much.
I've committed.
Sneaking up behind one of them and flicking him with the finger was one of the funnest things I ever did.
Oh, sending those fuckers flying is beautiful.
Yeah, it was like flop, flop, flap.
Get fucked. Oi, mate, in Australia we call this flipping the bird. Oh man. Trying to do a little.
Yeah.
It's difficult doing a feminine face sometimes, but hey, well, at least I'm fucking trying.
No, that baby looks dope. Like, that's a good. It's cool to me that you use the pencil brush that does kind of leave pencil strokes in. Like, it looks like it's leaving pencil strokes.
Yep, it is Jazz's brush. It's called the construction pencil.
Oh yeah.
Construction pencil. It is.
Oh yeah.
It is the one thing that just speaks to me the most whenever I draw. It's ever since I found it, it's just been my go-to for like sketching and stuff, and that's why I try to use it as much as possible too. I want to see how far I can push this thing.
Right. I'm gonna start nerding out on something else. So let's keep talking about Elden Ring. I'll start nerding out about the brush.
That's something we have a tendency of doing. Like,
I know.
How often can you and me just stick to the same point for like an hour?
I know.
I don't think it's physically possible, if I'm gonna be honest.
Just wandering conversations.
Yeah, but
so
hey, that's why we do this shit, because that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. Anyway.
So anyhow, yeah, the world devouring serpent is really that's a really cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a Norse thing. It's also a little bit of the Cthulhu, like a little bit of the mythos, the outer, like the unknown god, ultra powerful deity kind of thing. It's.
I would say
that's probably why Rykard's one of my favorite.
Yes.
Like, aside from the Blasphemous Blade, because the Blasphemous Blade is like my go-to weapon.
Same.
90% of the time.
I'm going through the DLC still, and that baby's been carrying me like bridal carrying me through half the fucking DLC.
Right. You know, and half the time, what I'll do is I'll keep Rykard's sword and Moog's spear.
Really?
And dual hand them, and then I'll put the sword on my back, because you still get the life steal if it's on your back.
Yes. Oh, I do that all the time. I have essentially I got Rykard's sword. I got Rykard's sword in my offhand. Then I tend to just two-hand weapons. So I have different like faith and strength scaling weapons on my main hand. And then I do Rykard's on the offhand, so whenever I hit anything, it just heals you. And that is something I like about everything from Rykard's side, is that it heals you because it devours that which you defeats.
Yes. It's all super thematic.
Yes.
They've done such a good job paying attention to all those little details.
Yes.
You know? Like, I swear to God, it's like the development time is probably about a year and a half, and then all the storyboarding and all the stuff like that's probably like a year and a half.
Yes.
They're probably spending as much time making sure they have a really interesting and good story as they are doing making the actual game.
You know, the most surprising part is that they got Robert R. Martin.
George R. Martin. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't really respect the guy much anymore. Anyway,
no, yeah.
They got him in to do the one thing he can do. World building.
Yeah.
That's the only skill he has.
That is exactly right.
Yep.
Aside from selling out, I don't think George R. R. Martin has many other tools in his fucking bag. He'll never finish Game of Thrones. He never will. Because he already is rich.
No, it's not because he's already rich. He made Game of Thrones, and honestly, I'm just quoting Sargon here, because Sargon, he made a video about that, actually.
Yeah.
You know the video on discussing orc families? He pointed out exactly why George R. R. Martin will never finish his story because he made it as sort of a proof that Tolkien's story isn't the end all be all in
Oh,
fantasy, right? But turns out
yeah,
that you need good versus evil, not just evil
yep,
and evil, because again, if fantasy is a realm of extremes.
right.
You have absolute evil, you have absolute good. He even made absolute evil and absolute good in the others and shit like that, right? But he knows that if he's going to finish the story, he is going to have to get a hero who wins in the end.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
that's a good point.
if he embraced that, Game of Thrones could be, or Song of Ice and Fire could become an amazing saga because it would build up the heroic character's appearance of the hero
Hmm.
so well. But since he has a
S-
frail fucking ego and he's a hateful, spiteful little bitch, he of course is never going to do it. So he's going to die before
Yeah.
he actually finishes the story.
See, now I think that's a smart analysis, but I also think that it's too charitable.
Yeah,
I think that the reality is that George R. R. Martin is a fat, lazy communist who has made his money and doesn't have an incentive to finish his story. Most people have moved on from it, and when he comes out, and he knows this, when it comes out, it's not going to be like people don't give a fuck about Game of Thrones anymore for the most part. Like there's a few fucking people that still like Game of Thrones, but I think a lot of the people who like really loved books don't give a shit anymore.
I don't.
Because no, I don't. I loved those books.
Oh
I don't give a
God,
shit
yeah.
if he finishes them or not anymore because it's been too long, and two, George R. R. Martin has proved himself to be a fat commie dildo, and I don't want to, and I don't necessarily want to support his work.
No, he's a piece
You
of shit and
know?
he can go fuck himself.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say I want to support his work. I mean, I'm still gonna, but I don't care about his story anymore.
No.
Like
Because there's
the thing
nothing
that
to
is supposed to
care
be
about,
his
though.
magnum opus and
Yeah.
the thing that's supposed to represent like his greatest work, I don't care because I just don't think it's that good anymore.
No. Because
I don't
here's the
think he
thing, when
has the
when you are a creator of stories, you gotta remember that you have to respect the people who take time from their day to read your works, to delve into your world, and that's what George R. R. Martin stopped doing. He stopped respecting his audience. He started just
yeah.
not caring. So they stopped caring about him.
Well, that's the thing is that I don't think that George R. R. Martin cared as much about his audience as he did about writing a book that would make him money. Like many communists or socialists, if you scratch them hard enough, you're going to find a cat. If you scratch just below the surface, you're going to find a capitalist under there.
Oh yeah.
Which is really
jealousy.
Again, yeah, you're going to find an envious capitalist. It's because he made he's got him, right? And so again, his incentive wasn't necessarily to just write a good story. I mean, he may have wanted to tell his story, and like you said, he was trying to fuck with Tolkien, but he's done what he set out to accomplish, and that's make a lot of money.
He did, and
because in the end, that's all communists really want is a lot of money. It's just that they don't want to have to work for it. They want your money.
Look at every single breadtuber shill out there. As soon as they got money, they like take one of the most popular ones. We gotta do the millionaires and billionaires. Then he got $1 million. We gotta deal with the billionaires.
Yep.
I'm not gonna point out who that is, but anyone who gets it, nice, well done. Give yourself a cookie.
Yeah, no, that's funny how that one is. But yeah, so I think that George R. R. Martin's involvement in Game of Thrones was purely economical. It was purely financial. Like he joined because it was going to make him money. They paid him money to do it.
Of course.
Which just seems to be his one motivating factor. They paid me. Hey, why did you give up your story to HBO and let these hack writers finish it? Well, because they paid me.
Yep. Also, it's not just because it was paid. He is a coward, essentially. I'm not being
Well, yeah.
nice. Essentially, what I know what you mean by just attributing cowardice to him in some way. What I'm doing is actually condemning him on a much deeper fucking scale, because for you it is he's just a greedy bitch, which I don't disagree with, but I need to condemn him even harder because he's not just a greedy little bitch, he's a greedy little coward. That's the worst part. He's created something that was, in all honesty, awesome, right? Again, I adored these stories.
Yeah.
And he just
They were very
abandoned it.
compelling.
Yes. And if he just followed the rhythm of the story, they would have become great. Of course, they wouldn't be able to hold candle to Tolkien, but nothing can.
No.
But
Well, you know
he
what the
would have
thing
made
is, if he would have
great.
just kept going instead of stopping,
Right?
it would have been okay. He should have just kept writing. Finish the fucking story, George. But he never will.
Had he actually
And now
been
he's
an Arthur, but he's not an Arthur. Author.
No. And now well, that's because if he wanted to tell his story, that's what he would do. But he doesn't want to tell. That's to me the proof, the singular proof that I need. He doesn't necessarily care about telling his story as much as he cares about making money from it.
Oh yeah.
And he's made his money, so he doesn't care about telling his fucking story anymore.
Yeah, and again, he's just scared of losing more, because he has enough star power at least to have some value, though he thinks he has more. He thinks more of himself than he really should. But yeah, it's just blanket condemnation of him and everything he's doing. I can't even go back to the books anymore.
You know, on the plus side for George R.R. Martin, like you said previously, he's really good at world building, and as I mentioned, he's a whore for money.
Yep.
So FromSoft could pay him to help build a world that was really compelling and interesting.
Yep. Essentially, George R. R. Martin
really comes down to it.
Yeah, he wasn't involved in things like this, right? In the Abductor Virgins, but he was involved in the 5,000 years before. He's the one who started building up the Great Shattering and all that. You know, the great events before the game, which is a very good decision by FromSoft's.
Yeah, the reason for the game.
Right. I adored that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too. And again, like I think that gave the artists at FromSoft license to just make some really cool shit, like the Abductor Virgins.
Yeah. Of
so
course,
it gave them more time to do that stuff.
Yeah. 1-for-1 though, my Abductor Virgin is not going to be as it's not going to be 1-for-1 the same. There's going to be differences as I look at the references to a certain point and then I see how close I can get to it later. So there will be changes and differences.
Well, you're not making you're not supposed to be making a 1-for-1 copy.
Nope.
So it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Let's see. But it's nice though. Again, anyone who has constructive criticism or, you know, anything, I'm not just looking to get praise for shit. Just tell me if you think what could be changed with anything of the style. So again, this is more for me developing and having a good conversation while, you know, having fun.
Yeah.
But I do need to develop more as an artist if I'm, you know, gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, believe me, I know that.
Yeah. Well, at least.
So
let's see. Go on.
Oh yeah. I'm still getting my. Like, I just got my 3D printer. I got my 3D printer set up. I was printing on it. I got a new main board for it, and then the main board died.
Oh.
It was like a brand new one. And so I go to Amazon because I ordered on Amazon. Yes, this all happened. This happened yesterday. So I go to Amazon and look, and yesterday was exactly 30 days. So it was the last day that I could file for a return on it. So I got a refund. I got a replacement part already. And
nice.
So I'm going to get my printer set up. I was thinking of setting up a webcam on my printer and run a live stream. Of course, I'm not printing anything interesting right now.
Oh, but you can also do a time lapse of it, dude.
Yeah.
3D printer things tend to be very popular. I'd recommend it.
Yeah. I just need to get back into making content again.
Yeah. It's
like I've been So I
HOA
just
has
packed up.
screwed you over hard.
I'm really depressed. It's depressing because I had to pack up. I packed up all my paint, just boxed up all my cans of paint and put them in storage. Because my son, we just moved my youngest in with us full time, and I needed the space inside for other shit. So I packed up my paint and put it in the storage.
Yeah.
It was like, it's just sitting there, sitting there on the shelf, and so.
At least your boy's back. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's good. He's with me full time now, so I'm super stoked about that.
Glad to hear it, dude.
Like, yeah, it's rad.
And also, you can always take back the old hobbies when time allows for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, when we can get into a new place, it doesn't have the same bullshit here, but that's a different story.
What?
So yeah, we're going off the rails again. So yeah, the Abductor Virgin.
Yep. Yeah, snake insignia. A lot of the reasons for the snakes can easily be explained with Rykard and the world-eating serpent.
Yeah, that's a cool piece of lore.
Oh yeah. Though the whole abduction thing is, most of the virgins actually don't have it, or rather, it's probably best to say that these things aren't living creatures. They're automatons, mechanical creations that are essentially programmed by, or as close to programming as you can get in Elden Ring, in a fantasy. But as you can see these snakes I'm shading here, this bundle of snakes right here.
Yeah.
These steel snakes are theorized to actually be the ones controlling the Abductor Virgins.
Huh.
Yeah, because you know when...
that's wild.
Yeah, the grab attack, you know, right? The hands that come out, those aren't hands, those are snakes.
No, they're snakes.
Yes.
The snakes come out and grab you. Yeah.
And if you... When they open their chest, and if you manage to hit inside the chest, you do extra damage.
Yep.
So that means that you can actually... I mean, you can actually kill them, of course. If you kill them, you kill the pilot of the Abductor Virgins. So, yeah.
Right.
Snakes piloting mechs, guys. This... you were fooled!
Snake mech.
You were fooled, my viewers! This isn't a fantasy, this is a mecha!
The snake mech.
Yeah, this is
Armored
Core Snake Edition.
It's funny that it's an Abductor Virgin, but it's holding a baby.
Yeah, it is.
But I know that is a throwback to the kind of Christian roots, right? A little way, because they're trying to the Virgin Mary.
Or if you want to go a bit darker into it, it's a virgin abducting other people's children.
It could be that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. That makes sense also.
Yeah, it is. This shit can get as dark as you want it to be. Because every wholesome tone can have a really dark undertone. Which is...
Right.
It's just industry standards at this point. In the FromSoft world. You can't find one happy ending, dude. God damn it.
It gives nuance, and that's really what makes... Like, the gray area between good and evil on a lot of things is really what makes it interesting.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how you... That's where conflict is. Like, if Dudley Do-Right is always doing Dudley Do-Right shit, then it's comical. Yes. It's not heroic, necessarily. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
I don't know.
I mean, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
When the hero is being comedically heroic, it doesn't really matter much.
Right. It doesn't. Yeah, it comes off as comedy, not heroic.
Yep.
I'm just watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
Get distracted by your drawing.
Thank you. You see what I did with the snake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of.
Yeah, it's a lot better. It makes a lot more sense that way. Actually,
it makes it more like a reflection as it spins.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of it being like the snake being held.
Yep.
Instead of being two snakes, they're holding on to it.
Yep. Also, it would mean I have to draw everything beneath here, and since I'm a lazy cunt, no. Aha! But yeah, so Abductor Virgin is child-stealing, snake-piloted mecha. Snake mechs.
With a wild saw blade and a friggin' guillotine blade.
I think they call it a sickle,
Or
but
a
screw
sickle
it.
blade, yeah.
This thing is not a fucking sickle because this thing is bigger than a goddamn Volkswagen Beetle.
Right?
Right.
It would
First
make a
time
cool fucking weapon.
Yeah, when this thing came crashing at me, it jump scared me because I didn't expect it at all.
Dude, they're terrifying looking because they're big.
Yes.
They're not small things. If they were like small things, they wouldn't be near as bad, but they're twice your size.
Yeah, you fit in its abdomen.
Yeah.
Which is the entire
And something
point.
to me about the stone face, like that unmovable face on things like that, just seem kind of menacing.
Yeah, because...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for everyone looking at... maybe Bessa can find a screenshot of an Abductor Virgin and post on the screen. Look at that face. It isn't the angry one. It is serene, but it is not really serene in a... It is uncanny. It is just this calm expression, clinical, in a way that just makes you more uncomfortable than anything.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's charging at you 100 miles an hour with a fucking saw blade.
And then snakes fucking pop out later.
Yeah.
So if you have a problem with snakes, you should avoid these motherfuckers.
Dude, the one that got me, that like kind of jump scared me the worst was the one in Volcano Manor when you're fighting the snake guys and you have to go in that one room.
Oh shit,
like
the one that
inside
just
a little
comes
city.
yeah, the one that just sneaks up from behind the wall, right?
Oh, that son of a bitch right there. Yes. When you're just walking down the path and all of a sudden there's one behind you and it just like yoinks you. You're not paying attention. Yes.
Oh, hi there.
That thing got me. Yeah.
You're in a castle.
Actually, the first time I saw that thing, I was running around the roofs.
Yeah.
Like, I never, ever, when I get to an area, I never follow the main path. I try to jump to whatever I can and be as high as I can on stuff.
Hey, dude, I'm following goddamn Obi-Wan Kenobi's advice of always holding the high ground in these games, dude.
Right. Right. Oh, for real.
Because no matter what happens, if you're close to the ground, you will find some form of zombie or monstrous thing that will try to devour your soul through the fucking screen.
Yep.
No thank you. I think I'll take the high ground and deal with the evil birds coming at me.
Yeah, and then there's the one behind the stone sword key door.
Oh, yes.
There too.
Oh, dude.
Like that one.
Okay, you were in you know when you get to Leyndell, right? The capital? You have the two of them that comes behind the hallway, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one screwed me up. I did not expect that one. There were two.
They're like a good. They're like those vulgar militia champs, right? Or characters.
Yes.
Like they're champs. I've been playing League too much. Those vulgar militia characters because, like, they're little small guys that hide in the tall grass and then jump out and scare you. Except for these are giant metal snake mechs that jump out and scare you. Like a lot of the time. Because they do kind of like there's so much crazy stuff in the background everywhere.
Oh,
like there's statues, there's all sorts of weird stuff. So they could very well be a background feature if you're not paying close attention.
I didn't expect them at all. And suddenly this thing, I see it rolling and I hate it. I use the door cheese so much on these things. It is now that I've started getting into higher level that I started getting the balls to actually fight these things.
Yeah.
And even then, you just have to be on your toes because no matter how high level you are, if you underestimate these things, like everything else in every FromSoft game, if you underestimate it, it's gonna get you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's... Yep, like every FromSoft game. And it doesn't matter what level you are.
If it gets you...
Because if it gets you, it gets you.
Yeah.
That's one thing... So that's one thing that I have always appreciated about that game. Especially as I've, like, power leveled and gotten over leveled.
Right.
Is that even though I'm over leveled and I can kill things easy, I know it's just I have to stay on top of them.
Yes.
Because if I don't, they're going to sodomize me.
Yeah, if you underestimate them at your own risk, it is...
Yeah.
Because you can just go through the game dominating entire section, but as soon as you get unconfident or as soon as you underestimate them, they will hit you so hard with a sucker punch that you should have seen coming.
Yeah, or that you could have done something about had you not been acting like a arrogant dildo.
Yeah, I've had a few reality checks. I come off
Yeah,
playing
dude.
I come off playing Tears of the Kingdom, and then something like, I got this shit, and then I just get bulldozed by whatever across the street.
Yeah, dude. I got humbled really quick.
Oh yeah.
Well, going from Limgrave to Caelid,
Oh god.
that's a humbling experience because you're like, oh, cool. There's a wall. There's red stuff here. This area looks neat. And then you encounter the first thing you encounter is like that giant horde of friggin' blood zombies, and if you're not careful, they'll kill the shit out of you. And then you find the giant like dog rats that are
the Dogosaurus Rex, and of course
the Dogosaurus Rex. Oh,
and the goddamn Crowosaurus Rex.
dude,
holy shit!
The fucking crows. Oh,
you say Uncanny Valley? That's from the land of the uncanny fucking abyss.
Those things are stupid, terrifying when you have to fight, especially the dog guys. Like the dog guys are worse than the birds, honestly. Just because the dog guys charge up on you, like they scare me more. Like I don't want to deal with the birds, but I always deal with the birds from a distance.
Yes.
I always like snipe them from something.
I always use the nuclear option. I always use my heaviest spells immediately as soon as I see it. But the worst ones are. It's not just the one. It's not the ones in Caleb, but the worst one are the ones in Moog's area.
Oh, the blood. Yeah, because they bleed.
Yeah, it's not just the.
Since everything in Moog's area bleeds.
They look like they have the worst form of fucking cancer, dude.
Oh, they do. Everything in that area looks fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
Like those birds themselves, because it looks like they're affected by the rot.
No, they're affected by the blood god, which causes you weird things. But then you have in Caleb.
Oh yeah, no, but
yeah, in Caleb they are affected by the rot, as you can see the fucking mutations on them. Holy shit.
Right, but they all look like horrifying mutants.
Yes.
All the birds do.
Which is why when I become Elden Lord, my first job is just gotta find the biggest goddamn torch and take it to Caelid and make sure that shit never comes back.
Gonna get rid of all the sparrows, comrade.
Oh yeah. Unironically, I'm donning the Russian cap for this one.
Oh no, they got rid of the birds. They got rid of the giant birds, and the whole Elden Ring ecosystem collapsed.
Shit, how could I know that the giant doom and gloom birds were so important? Fuck.
Now that the Dogosauruses are taking over the lands between.
No, wait,
that would be awful.
I have the perfect counter. Abductor Virgins. Just spam
Yeah.
Just get there. Holy shit, my character's gonna be a terrible Elden Lord.
So this shows, and the Abductor Virgins are another thing that's cool about them, is because they do have that kind of there's that mechanical aspect to some things in there, right? So it's fantasy, but it still has some of the technological elements to it.
If there's one thing I adore, it is this tinkerer thing in fantasy, or especially like alchemy. You know, when you add a fantasy science in it, you know, alchemy is the sort of like the study of magic itself. People who can't use magic can study alchemy and thus be able to use it. I love that. I am all for that. And then you have enchantment and like tinkering in this kind, and I love that too. It is so cool how you can explain a way to get this fantastical technology and explain the way with different kinds of enchantments and abilities and powers. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And it just makes me
it
makes me think about one thing though. You know the snakes inside this thing? Do you think they're actually real snakes or some kind of... They're metal, but I don't think they are automatons themselves. I think the snakes are alive, actually.
Yeah, I think the snakes are probably... Or they're imbued with something.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think it's Rykard's doing that they have become so alive.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, that's kind of benefits of being a god is you can create stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would think. So
As I see it, Rykard is one of the more powerful beings in the Elden Ring universe.
yeah,
And he became this by just giving himself up to the serpent, but instead of just being lost to it, it seems like they merged together.
he took over the serpent.
Yeah. Because when the serpent is knocked out, he wakes up and suddenly he can just use so much different power.
And that fight is so cool.
Oh.
We'll save that for later.
Yes, that's for Rykard's episode, but as you can tell, Rykard is our favorite here. My second favorite is Morgoth.
Yeah. I liked Moog.
Oh, Moog is
but we already did Moog.
Yep,
so
that's why he got the first episode, baby.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait when we do Godric the Grafted. Out of all the most hated characters, he's one of my favorite loser characters, actually.
Godric, he's a weird character.
He's weird.
Like, just in the story, he's a weird character.
Yeah, he's overconfident, but he knows he sucks, but he tries to play it off, and then he of course picks a fight with Milena and gets his ass beat.
Right.
You're beaten to death by someone who is able to go toe to toe with Radahn. Of course you're gonna get your ass kicked, dumbass.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, he was cocky.
He was.
Yeah.
But he was also an absolute coward. I mean, that's why he was the first shard bearer and the weakest boss, because he was meant to be the first test, essentially.
Yeah.
I first thought when I saw the trailer, though, I thought Godric would be bigger, but I didn't expect to see him to be the first to go.
I thought he was. I don't know. I thought it was a cool fight. I mean, like, he's a cool looking enemy.
Yes, and he also has one of the best boss themes too. I just love the way it goes. It goes so hard.
Yeah. Like those, and he has that weird body horror thing going. Like, God damn it, what the hell are they called? Those guys right at the beginning. The first thing you fight.
Grafted Scions?
Grafted Scions, yeah. Like, those are wild looking.
Have you seen
like, just masses of arms and legs. Oh, and the faces are crazy.
Yeah, they're actual just children.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And
like they just took a bunch of kids with long arms and stuck them together into a... merged them together.
From what I've heard, those Grafted Scions are most likely his own children.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which just highlights another cool thing about the Elden Ring lore, is that they're scattered throughout the whole lands between.
Yep. Oh, there's so much cool shit.
And that's thematic, wherever there's a story reason for them to be in almost every place. Kind of cool.
Yep. Also, there are there are so many different things you can hang up on.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you and me talk in this here, we dip into the main subject, and then we just go a buck wild and everything else.
Right. Just geek out about everything.
But it's so much to geek out about, though.
Yeah, I don't want to go to work today.
Call in sick. Call in sick.
No, I can't.
He's sick. Leave him be.
No. Even if I was sick, I would have... Well, I don't have my laptop, but even if I was sick, I would still just work from home.
Nice.
But, yeah, no. It's like we're such a small, tight-knit team at the place that, like, I'm not just going to bail on them and leave them to do whatever, to handle shit.
That's nice.
So, not without giving them some heads up. I'll do that to my boys.
That's a good... That means you guys have a good working relationship going.
Yeah, my team's pretty cool. I'm very fortunate to have the job I do.
Nice.
But, yeah, back to Elden Ring. So,
oh,
yeah, because one of the guys I work with is super into Elden Ring, too, so we chat about Elden Ring every now.
Based.
He got the DLC, but he did kind of, like, because I haven't played through the DLC. And my controller's fucked. I need to get a new controller. So I can't really, and I can't do keyboard and mouse. I cannot.
Me neither, dude.
Like,
on games like Elden Ring, keyboard and mouse is for insane people, crazy people, mad people.
It is. You're exactly,
Disco.
yeah. We talked about that on Twitter, I think.
Yep.
Anybody that could do that on a keyboard and mouse, do some of these things on a keyboard, because I couldn't even control the camera properly without it being just jumping all over
I know, right?
for me.
If
It was
the
awful.
FromSoft games that are made for that are made to be better with PC is Armored Core.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it's a mech game, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's a shooter game.
It's gonna have like a whole bunch of different. Like you can put missiles and guns on a mech that you can't have on a character.
Yep.
Right. Even with magic and shit like that. So it necessitates more buttons than you could probably get reasonably on a controller.
Yeah. Again, whenever I play Elden Ring, I take out my controller all the time.
Yeah. That's. Oh, I need to get Black Myth Wukong. I heard that's really dope.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good about it too.
Like, I really like that Wukong story too. Like I've always liked that Journey to the West story. I always thought it was super cool.
From what I've heard, it's actually we could actually have a conversation about that later if you want.
Oh yeah.
But like a quick little mention before we go on. Black Myth Wukong is actually a sequel to the Wukong myth.
Oh, is there a previous game to it?
No. It's a sequel to the myth itself. Journey
Oh,
of the West.
I gotcha.
It's a follow-up
Oh,
of it's sort of what happens after the Journey to the West.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's real fucking cool. But yeah, we can hell when you get Black
that's
Myth
different story.
When you get Black Myth Wukong, we can have a Simply Sketch about that too.
Have you played it yet?
No, I don't think I will. Again, I have a select few games I'm going to play, and also I'm holding out for Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh yeah,
which is out in a week.
I know. Between that and like Space Marine, between Black Myth Wukong and Space Marine, I've been stuck in a decision paralysis mode about if I want to, which one I want to pick up and play.
Yeah, I'm balls deep back in Helldivers. It's so good after they fixed the issues.
Did they?
Oh, dude.
After they buffed it?
Oh,
well, they buffed a bunch of the weapons.
It's so good, dude. It's so good.
It's like they finally got the hint that the developers aren't meant to be going against the players.
Yes.
Like you're trying to make a good player experience instead of trying to fucking frustrate and.
Yeah, let's put it like this. I think that the public execution of Concord kind of opened their eyes.
I hope so.
Yeah, because every change, even the few nerfs that happened in the update, was followed to be a reasonable one. So, yeah, I'm fucking all for it. Everything is a trade-off. That every nerf happened was with a trade-off. Every weapon now, you don't have a solid meta. You can just go whatever build you want.
That's how it should have always been.
Yes.
But they didn't. They screwed it up from the beginning. And aside from them screwing it up that way, there was the whole community thing that really.
Oh yeah.
And the Sony thing that kind of soured me on it.
It did, but
even though I know they've rolled that requirement back in some places, but that soured me on it. It's like really when a game starts attracting a lot of controversy and shit for reasons about the game and not social justice reasons, then I kind of like I'll steer clear of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know what? I don't want to participate in your drama, and I sure as hell don't want to support you if you're being retarded.
Right.
So just step back from the game for a little bit.
Wukong is one of the Helldivers has essentially done the opposite of what they did in the beginning.
Yeah.
They've now just been like, okay, fine, we're going for the players now. We're choosing the people who actually pay for what we give them.
Good.
And I've had so much fun. Again, this is actually on the topic because, like the From stuff, they actually care now about what they make.
Started well, and so I always felt like Arrowhead did care about the game.
Yep.
Right. It wasn't Arrowhead that was really the big problem necessarily. There were a few devs that I think took a really adversarial attitude towards the players, But
Yeah,
then the community managers are really the biggest cancerous thing about Helldriver.
they are.
Like,
But
I think the community managers and all those people are the ones that are,
yeah.
like, they're more of a barrier for a lot of people than the Sony execs wanting to be boners about
Yeah, let's put
your
it like
data.
this. The only thing worse than a community manager is a game journalist.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely... I despise the idea of a community manager. Like, what? How are you managing? Like, I guess I could see moderating a community, but you're not trying to. I don't know.
Well,
I
everything
just
has to be managed
people.
one way or another. It needs some kind of weird ass name. So
They're like
I understand
fucking Reddit mods.
Yes, I understand the need behind it, but it's just that nobody with the actual qualifications to have that role gets the role.
Yeah. Well, it's often just like a lot of things. It's often the people with like the worst intentions that gravitate towards roles where they can abuse power.
Yeah.
Like there's a trope about Reddit and Discord mods for a reason.
Yes.
You know, like I've left a few Discords because their mods were being too retarded.
Yeah, let's put it like this.
Sorry.
The Elden Ring's version of a Redditor is Gideon Ofnir.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, like, there's some really great Elden Ring YouTubers. Like, Ziostorm is my favorite Elden Ring YouTuber.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
Ziostorm
such good Armored Core videos, too. Like,
oh, yeah. And his Discord's fire, dude. And so, I was sharing a video to his Discord, and YouTube generated the link for my video, and the last 3 letters of the video link were FAG.
FAG.
And so FAG were the last, of the random string because it gives you that hash, right? And so I posted it in his server, and it automatically got auto-blocked. Right? It auto-blocked. And I was like, what the hell? And so I tried posting it again, and it did the same thing. And so I got a little worried because I don't want to go into a community where and be like obviously violating the rules, especially when they're kind of cool about it, you know? Right. And so I hit his mod, and I was like, hey, dude, just so your heads up, I'm not trying to be a dildo. Here's my latest video, and look at the last 3 letters of the link. And it was autofilled. And so I told him, I was like, I'm not trying to be a dildo. I'm not, here is what happened. And he was like, oh man, that sucks. I can't disable the autofilter. Let me see what I can do. And so he posted my video for me.
That is fucking
on there.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, that is a fucking boss mod. Like, that guy is a badass.
Yeah, those are the kind of people that should have responsibility of being a mod.
Yeah, well, because he's not being a fucking nerd about it.
Yeah, I think it's not community.
He's being a real human being.
I don't know when it went from community manager, from community moderator to community manager. Because it's not community managers you need community moderators.
So shout out to Jonathan from Ziostorm's Discord. His fucking mod, he's a badass. He's a good example of what people should have.
Yeah.
And not people who should be mods and not the sweaty nerds that want to control what people say.
Huh. Well, what do you say his name was? Jonathan? Josh?
Jonathan.
Yeah.
With an AW.
Remember, everybody, be a Jonathan, not a Redditor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I'm having fun with this one.
It's cool looking.
Thank you.
I mean, they're always cool looking. Your shit's always cool looking.
Thanks, dude. Thank you. I really appreciate it, though. I really like just talking about shit and also talking about things that I like with friends who understand it.
Oh yeah.
And also, it gives me, again, fans to develop. I've always been a fan of the whole black and white sketch style too. Like a little bit of the. What comic did have that one? A noir Sin City. Sin City did, yeah.
I've
never really seen that movie or read the comic, but I've always been a fan of the style.
I love the movie. Like, I think it's a cool movie. I like the style, and I know people are dunk on the Zack Snyder 300 for kind of, because it's kind of a similar style in a way, you know.
Yeah.
But like the way they did the Yellow Bastard in the movie was really dope, and Elijah Wood was not surprisingly, Elijah Wood's a cool actor. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He does some cool shit.
He's just been given a
And
lot
he pulls off the creepy weirdo really easy.
Yeah, Elijah is a really good actor too. Again, he's not just the... What was it? Many people give his Frodo a lot of shit, but the whole idea is that he was meant to be portrayed a lot more young.
Yeah.
Again, just...
I don't know. I thought his Frodo was awesome. I thought he did a great job.
Again, let's put it like this. I love Lord of the Rings like a fucking religion. The book and the movies, I love both for their own reasons, right?
Yeah.
And I love Elijah's Frodo as much as I love the one from the book. It's just in the book, things feel more like, I'd say, adult, grown-up, world-weary, or, you know, they know more about the world around them. Well, in the movie, it's more new, more unexperienced about the world, but they still get there. Frodo is someone just overburdened by shit.
Well, hobbits in general are inexperienced with the world.
Yeah, though their history is a little bit brutal. Let's go there. Hobbiton didn't belong to the hobbits originally. It did belong to the goblins first. Then they came in. It's like, nah, this is our place now.
I actually don't know the lore of the hobbits.
Yeah, so Hobbiton, what became the Shire, actually was a hive of goblins, and the hobbits were like, yeah, but we want this now. Goblins were like, okay, fine, take it if you can. The hobbits showed up.
And they did.
Yes, because it wasn't the humans who butchered Saruman's people after the hobbits returned from the War of the Ring. It was the hobbits.
It was the hobbits, yeah. The hobbits, the scouring of the Shire. That's one of the coolest parts in the book.
Yes, because the hobbits are nice fellas, and they're calm fellas. But they were a bunch of brutal motherfuckers.
You know what the thing is like, I feel like the hobbits in the books were meant to symbolize just the simple English country folk.
Yes.
And so, by doing that, he's saying, you know, they're normal, peaceful. They're peaceful people. But we're peaceful by choice, not by necessity. Which is an important distinction.
How does that saying go? Never, what was it? Peacefulness or for weakness? How did that saying go?
Don't mistake. What was it? Don't mistake kindness for weakness.
There you go. And that is the hobbits to the T, because every single hobbit is more than willing to stab a bitch or shoot a bitch with an arrow if needed. They are peaceful folk, and they would much rather just sit and chill or work their gardens than to fight. But if you have to fight, they will fight.
Well, and that's a Western thing. Yeah. I don't know if that's a Western thing as much as that it's just your duty to defend your homeland kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of fallen off the later years, but it's still there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the kind of a universal. I don't know. That's off in the weeds. We're not even close to Elden Ring anymore.
It isn't.
Little far away.
But it kind of goes there because Abductor Virgins, they steal things from people. They steal for Reinhardt's and his more corrupted order. Because his order wasn't originally with the whole Abductor Virgins. That's something that it became after he delved more and more into the serpent and the power of the volcano manor. Then he became corrupted by it, he became that power, and then the Abductor Virgin started happening to feed his own eternal hunger. And essentially he went on a path that would just invade and devour more and more and more, and his goal isn't to just eat all the gods even. It's a dark world ahead of it, and Reinhardt is a guy who had good intentions. He wanted to break the order of America, but he went about it the wrong way. And resulted with him just becoming utterly corrupted by the power he wielded.
Right.
Desiring
the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. But he just went all for it. He just he didn't just fall to darkness, he became the darkness.
Well, that's a good. Don't become a slave to the darkness. Become its master.
Exactly.
Right.
And
That's
better to
what he
rule
did.
in hell
Yeah.
than serve in heaven. And honestly, that is pretty good, well connected Tolkien as well, because there's another being who originally started off as good, but due to ambition and a lust for power, he tried to emulate the Dark Lord, and in order to become him, Saruman.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So Rykard is very much like a Saruman figure, and these Abductor Virgins is honestly one of the greatest monuments to Rykard's fall to evil. Because he is evil. He became fucking evil. There's no hiding there. Rykard is one of the more evil characters because he does what he does with glee and joy.
Well, and you know, there's so much crazy just inhumanity throughout. Like, first off, your sole purpose with him, like all the Volcano Manor quests are invades.
Yep.
Right. So you're going after other players there. Supposedly.
It's not just other
I mean, they're
players.
NPCs, but
you're not going after
other tarnished.
Yes, you're killing your people.
Yeah, you're killing your own people. And then at the end, after you kill him and you go back and find Lady Tanith and she's fucking eating him.
Yep.
Like, that's wild. It's wild. It's just the whole thing is weird and kind of perverse.
Yeah. But it does say a lot about the power that he contains, that he's... Again, he didn't get devoured by the serpent. He became the serpent. So
yeah, he
again,
devoured the serpent.
Yeah, the serpent always returns in a form, which means that if Tanith eats the remains of Rykard, and she says it herself, they will find purchase within her and be reborn through her. Meaning that Tanith and Rykard would become one in a weird way. And in my second playthrough of Elden Ring, New Game Plus, I didn't kill Tanith. I left her there. I left her to have a little bit of a Rykard sandwich.
I didn't kill her until I found out that when you kill her, that her Crucible Knight is how you get the Flame Breath.
Yep. I didn't.
Like, I didn't kill her until I realized that. I was like, oh, okay. So I wouldn't bother killing her the second time around because I don't need that twice. So, and I'm curious to see if they're ever going to finish up Patch's quest with her. Where you give her the castanets.
They have, actually. They have.
But, oh, did they?
You want a little bit of a spoiler?
Yeah, do it. Let's hear it.
What happens is that Patches gives the castanets. You hand over the castanets, but as she's busy chowing down, she's just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want him to see him do more with that.
Yeah, and he goes
with
back
the castanets.
But you know the place where you first found him? He goes back there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He is Patches untethered.
I accidentally killed him. My new game. So I missed him in Volcano Manor. My first playthrough, I missed him in Volcano Manor, so I wasn't able to get the bull goat armor. And then I was going through the second time around, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hit him with the Moog Spear once, and but it killed him. And I was like, fuck. It's like, damn it, you're one of the, this guy's quest was the express reason I restarted, and I accidentally killed him.
God damn it.
I was like, damn it. And if I could have gone to New Game Plus right there, I probably would have, if I'm honest. But at that point, I was just like, damn it, you son of a bitch. They killed you, weak-ass Patches, bitch. You annoying fucker. Like, you kick me off a cliff, you torment me throughout the whole damn game, and then I accidentally kill you, and you torment me still.
He's such a prick. And honestly, I like him. And the best part is, Patches has become such a part of the identity of From Software, because even in Armored Core, people are looking for Patches characters there. And there's this one asshole in the game. I think he's Swinburne, a mercenary for one of the main factions. And when you beat his ass, he's like, no, don't kill me. I can pay you extra if you don't kill me.
Bastard.
Yeah, well, he Unfortunate for Swinburne, he works for the the evilest corporation, where the guy in charge is a he's not forgiving.
Yeah.
He's basically Megatron if Megatron was a British posh man.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's fucked. He's fucked either way. I just put him out of his misery.
So it looks like you're done here.
I am, and honestly,
Man,
I'm really satisfied with this one.
do that in an hour. That's mind-blowing.
Yeah, shit. 1 hour and
that is
20 minutes.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, though it depends on how much editing Bessic has to do. That's gonna be the fun part. Good luck, Bessie.
Yeah. That's his part. That's his fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his problem.
Not mine.
We can give him some shit to cut out here at the end if we want to, but yeah.
We'll already do that in the start, you know. Bleep,
Yeah.
bleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, as usual, dude, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad that you're joining me on this. I love
Oh man, it's always a blast, dude. It's my pleasure. This is so fun. It's so cool to watch you draw this shit.
Thank you. Looking forward to when you can start doing your own thing. We need to go back to
Again.
labs one day, or at
Yeah,
least,
man.
I'm thinking, yeah, we should. I might do a stream later. Yeah, we can talk about that later after here. Bessic just cut out this part.
Yeah.
We don't need that. If it's okay by you, I'm just gonna wrap it up here then. Unless you have any closing statements.
Nope. Go ahead and wrap it up, dude.
Well, a closing statement for me. Whenever these guys charge at you, unless you have something you can throw at the open door before they reach you, just jump to the side. Dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll.
Dodge roll.
And if you have hard-hitting weapons like rock throw for faith builds, the magic hammer magic builds, or just hit them with the big bonk stick, you should be alright.
Lightning. Also lightning works on them too.
The power of Thor and Zeus compels you. As you can see, I decided to make at least attempt to make lightning around them.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
it looks
really
great.
Happy. I'm happy with this one. Well, and with that, I am going to close this episode, of course, with a little bit of the usual chilling. If you like what you see and would like me to draw for you, my Ko-Fi is down in the description below. You can also reach me by DMing me on Twitter. If you have if you're able to reach me on Discord, again, feel free to DM me and we can talk out the prices. If you want to buy any merch with my drawings on them, again, down in the description below. And of course, my good friend Fat Dave, also known as TotalBlackoutPainting, he does a lot of good work as well on his channel. Do check him out. Anything you want to say on your side?
Yeah, I did. Kind of on hiatus right now.
Yeah.
You can also check out my Etsy. There's a link to my Etsy on my page in my YouTube channel. So I do custom work as well.
Yeah, he does. So. Again, if you want, as we used to do, I'm looking forward when we can do it again, the collaborations. Because you make the best fucking backgrounds, dude.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I'm so
you make
hyped.
great foregrounds. So.
Yeah. Again, we can mesh well together. I'm looking forward to next time, dude. Holy crap.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, with that, I would like to say to everyone, thank you very, very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Peace out.